Diagnosed as a psychopath, this serial killer is possibly the worst the UK has ever seen. My name's Emma, and I would like to tell you the case of Peter Tobin. This case does come with some warnings. This is probably one of the more gruesome ones that I've ever done, so if you do not like graphic content surrounding murder and mutilation, please click on a different video. Peter Tobin was born in 1946 in Glasgow. He was the youngest of 8 siblings. He was a very difficult child. He had a lot of behavioural problems. When he was 7 years old, he was sent to a behavioural school. Officially, this is called an approved school, and it's basically for kids where there is no parental control. It is for children who have incredibly disruptive behaviour and are often violent. In 1965, he was convicted of burglary and sent to a youth detention centre at age 19. So there were very early warning signs in Peter's behaviour as a child and a teenager. 4 years later, in 1969, he began courting 17-year-old Margaret Mountney. They met at a dance hall, and Margaret said initially Peter was very charming. He would take her for drives around the locks. However, this begins to disintegrate quite quickly, and as soon as their relationship begins to get serious, Peter's true side emerges. He begins to get quite violent, abusive. Margaret does end up marrying him, but she says he essentially kidnapped her. So Peter basically kidnapped Margaret and forced her to marry him. The violence in their marriage soon escalated and became very dangerous. One evening, Margaret and Peter's puppy was barking and yelping constantly. Peter's solution to this, he was getting so annoyed, he decapitated the puppy. Whenever he would get annoyed or angry at Margaret, he would beat her. He would grape her, sexually assault her, at knife point often. He would also lock her in the flat for hours on end, sort of holding her hostage. On one evening, he essayed her with a knife, causing irreparable damage to her genitals. After this violent attack, he just left the flat. Margaret was lying there, just bleeding out, and the only reason why she got any help was the neighbour downstairs in these blocks of flats noticed blood dripping down from the ceiling. She ran up to see what was wrong and found Margaret. Margaret then got medical help. She survived, but the damage caused to her genitals left her unable to bear any children. In 1971, Peter once again is imprisoned for burglary. During this time, whilst he's in prison, Margaret takes the opportunity and flees. She also files for divorce. Just under a year later, he is released from prison and he decides to relocate to Brighton, which is on the south coast of the UK. It is there that he meets and marries 30-year-old nurse Sylvia Jeffreys. They have a son called Ian and a daughter called Claire. Claire